Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Photographic Memory Podcast. I'm excited to welcome to the program Dr. Shannon Panzo. Dr. Shannon, what's going on? How are you?
Hey, we're doing great here. The sun came up again this morning, much to the bane of others, but the sun is up. It's bright. It's sunny. We're having a great day today.
This is an amazing year, 2021 compared to 2020. Let's hope so it keeps going as well as it's going, because it's really exciting to see things opening up again, even though in Australia they opened up a little earlier. But I always get excited. And I think that working with you, since I've worked with you, I've really have a better positive outlook on life. And I owe that definitely to your mentorship. So again, Dr. Shannon is a photographic memory expert. He is a mentor, as I mentioned, and a brain management expert. And Dr. Shannon, we're going to continue the conversation about different things to learn about ZOX Pro, because as you know, Dr. Shannon, I am a talk show host that likes to ask questions, and you have oodles and oodles of information to talk about with ZOX Pro, don't you?
Oh, unfortunately, that is the case. Whenever you accumulate information, you have plenty of things to talk about.
It's amazing. I came with you now after we saw, interviews with Ted Valley and stuff, and his brilliance of knowledge base, and then yours, and then Augie's. And it's like, wow, if I too could become that, I would be a very dangerous man, especially with the knowledge base that I already have in marketing. All right, so let's talk about this, because again, a busy guy like me, if I am going to take ZOX Pro, and I know that Dr. Shannon's excited about that, how many hours a week should you devote to ZOX Pro training?
Well, whenever essentially, what you have to do is you have to be consistent. You need to actually go and do these things every day, and it is going to give you results. So after you actually undertake learning and undertake the exercises for ZOX Pro training, now there's a learning curve there, and you're going to spend more time straight on the front end of this, but that's okay. Most of my clients settle out on around an hour and a half a day, but that's not an hour and a half all in one slug. It's better if you actually do this in small sections around your day. Pretty much how life is, things happen as along the way, and life tends to be a little bit eclectic as to how it unfolds. So if you're constantly using the different parts of the process, you easily cover an hour and a half a day. And sure, some of the things you have to put a little bit of time aside to do, but it's well worth the effort. And the results are what you want to get anyhow. Otherwise, you wouldn't undertake it. Now, let me add in there one other thing. If you have been watching this entire series of the uh, Photographic Memory Podcast up until now, and you still don't have ZOX Pro training sitting there in front of you, you're hopeless. Figure it out.
But if they're listening to the nationally syndicated radio show that we broadcast these on as well, then you have to go back to ZOXPro.com to check out all of the podcasts, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, there's I think we're up to 26, 27, 28, somewhere in there right now. So all those podcasts are telling you it's not advertising. This is real. It's telling you you can have a better life. And that is really important for you. And that's why I want to make mention, hey, wake up.
Exactly. You have to wake up and smell the roses. What type of results will you first see? Because you think about specifically enough, you start doing the hour and a half training every day. When do you start to see, because you talked about it does take time to see results, but what kind of results kind of show up? Like, oh my gosh, out of the blue, I can do this now.
Well, one of the first things is we start with the distraction index. So that'll increase your concentration level. You'll be able to concentrate on things better. The second thing is the eye chart drill. You open up your awareness and perception 7 to 10 times. You'll start to see things you haven't seen in a long time. You can be walking down a path that you've walked down for several years. Suddenly, you notice there's a building there. And that building was built 5 or 6 years ago,
Oh,
and
goodness
you didn't
gracious.
even notice it. Now, because your peripheral vision's opening up, yes, you start noticing that. Then you go down to the programming. The programming has just huge life changing effects because it is going to influence how you go about doing your daily life. Then you finally get into the mental photography, and right away, we have you doing the dictionary thesaurus drill. Now, the dictionary thesaurus drill is in itself, it's a wonderful little drill, and it lets you target. Basically, it's targeting words, seeing how they reveal themselves, and yes, whenever you first start, it's going to feel like guessing. But that's only where it begins. And as you get better and better at these things, you build the confidence because you're actually performing. And then you're getting on to other books and such. And within the first week, you may see a few things happen. Within the second week, see a little bit more happen. In a month, you're gonna start to get the sensation as to what's actually happening. You may actually get a sensation that something is happening, something big is happening, but it just hasn't revealed itself yet. Well, that's because you may just not know quite what you're looking for. And that's okay because eventually you will start to see these things and they will reveal themselves in your life. And along the way, you know, you have various uh, you have various goals in mind for yourself, and you can start dealing with your goals. So there's because of the individual person that you are, you're going to have a different time map than everybody else around you. Even if all of your family was doing ZOX Pro, they would have their own time map and you would have yours, and it would generally be a little bit separate, even though you can compare notes. So this is why family members like to do it. It really depends upon a person as to how this evolves for them. It's very individual.
All right, so fantastic. So let's kind of go into the another question I have is basically we talk about ZUX Pro. It's a training. How did that start? We kind of talked about the history of your experiences all the way when you learned photographic memory from Dr. Richard Welsh, but we never, how was ZUX Pro created? Was it based on another training? Did you develop that? Did Richard Welsh? Was it a mixture of things from your experiences?
Well, this all started back in 1975, where Richard Welch bought a speed reading company, and he learned very quickly that there was a lot of unanswered questions in the speed reading um, as a whole. He set out to answer those questions. This is what led to discovery of mental photography. From that point, he developed this into a seminar, and he was teaching various levels of seminar uh, pretty much throughout the United States, and it eventually went international. Now, I came on in 1985, and that's when things started happening with me. But before that, well, between 1975 and 1985, he was developing. He was developing and teaching out there in the public, and he went and so essentially I was involved in doing seminars. Now this is back before the internet actually came into a
Exactly.
commonality, a common place to be. Now, as soon as the internet did come out, we jumped on board and we got started in the internet. How? We developed a home study version of the seminar,
Okay.
which we would then ship out. Well, that's a little bit that's a little bit time consuming, and there's materials involved, so therefore it's going to be more expensive. So eventually, we developed the digital version, which is ZOX Pro, and this is using specifically digital equipment. You're you're getting all the information digitally, which means we can deliver to you virtually instantaneously once you are signed up and logged in.
Wow.
So that's where that started being on the internet back in 2008. And we've been going ever since with ZOX Pro. It's been there. And yeah, we're still going today, stronger than ever.
Interesting. And so basically, the seminar became the course, the home study, which became finally what ZOX Pro became online.
Right. So most people that undertake a training, what they will do is, or they're building a training. What they will do is they will develop the digital course first, because that's where people reside at to do their business these days. This has a very long history. And it was actually developed from the seminar, which means we had real life experience dealing directly
Right.
across the table with real people in real time. And we did it for many, many years. This enabled us to approach ZOX Pro training so that we really never had to change it. We already got the bugs worked out. And that's why ZOX Pro training is an evergreen training. We've made very uh, few revisions to ZOX Pro training since it came on board on the internet, because we didn't have to. It works.
Right.
The original version works. Wouldn't that be nice if that was true throughout life?
Exactly. And so listening to what you're saying is basically ZOX Pro will absolutely dramatically change your life, as we've talked about in 20 plus episodes that we've had, or more, 25 plus episodes so far. And that people need to go to ZOXPro.com if they've not already. And if they're listening to the nationally syndicated radio show, then they need to go back, listen to some of the podcasts, or just go right now to ZOXPro.com, purchase it, and be done. Right.
That's right. Have a great day with it. And there's a slogan: "Great things happen here." That's our slogan, and it's true. Great things will happen for you. That's what's important.
People, even if they're not as well educated or have the best learning ability of learning things and teaching them, right? The successful people in the world, even if they don't have the highest level of education, they have the ability to learn, and they learned their craft and mastered it. And that's what ZOX Pro will teach you, to master many people's crafts and based in information and reading. And that's really cool.
That's right. Sounds good to me.
Okay.
Okay.
ZOXPro.com for more information. Go right now. And I appreciate it, Dr. Shannon, for stopping by.
No problem. Glad you decided to have me today.
All right. That, guys, was the Photographic Memory Podcast. Take care.